Hello everyone, this is Traci from Inspired Chi, and I am bringing you a whole mix of energy messages today. We are coming off of the fall equinox yesterday, still in that energy, kicking off my favorite season of the year. We are getting ready to enter October. We have a full moon September 29th, and some of you may be honoring the holiday of Yom Kippur and doing some reflection. So I hope we can get a lot of messages out to you today that will be helpful on whatever journey and whatever path you're on today. I want to take some time to thank all of those of you who have donated to our charity that we're sponsoring for September, Croydon Haunted Hollows. Thank you to Colleen Kugel, Trey Stein, Jean Marie Cordero, Pat White, and also Terry Perez for not only donating your time and energy, some toys and treats, or donations that will go to that. That really goes a long way. And this is the final week to get those donations in and still win a free Inspired Chi reading. Those readings are being done by Hints from Heaven, Linda Caldwell, and Inspired Chi, AJ Johnsack at this time. So, those of you who've already received your video for your donations, again, we appreciate that, and we'd love it if you could drop over a review. We always love reviews, no matter what you're attending, what you've been through in the past. We could always use the testimony of our friends and clients, so we appreciate that. We have, just to wrap up September, we do have a Painting with a Twist event on the 29th of September. Colleen will be the artist and I will be the tarot reader. We're going to celebrate the fall equinox in person, doing some intentions with the bay leaves and all that fun stuff. If you were at our retreat in July, you've had some experience with the bay leaves as far as setting intentions and putting them out into the world. So for October, just real quick, we are going to be at a lot of different places and have a lot of different events for every interest and every budget and every location pretty much. And if you don't see something you'd like to see in the future, always send us an email. We're always welcome to new venues and new ideas that our clients and friends want us to see. If you don't happen to live in Feasterville or Bensalem, you may have to travel far for some of our events. Give us some ideas. We're always willing to do what we can to hang out with you guys. We love spending time with you. It's our favorite thing in the world. So October, we're starting out at Potheads Coffee House in Bensalem. On the 6th, we have your Psychic Senses class, and on the 13th, we have Ritual and Runes. We're actually using rune stones and rune cards today, so if you have no idea what that is, you soon will have a little bit of understanding of the runes, and if you'd like to study them more, or just if you'd like to check out some Psychic Senses energy. We have, at the True Healing Center, I'm going to have 30-minute sessions available on October 8th, and also on October 12th, we're doing a Meet Your Spirit Guides meditation. So that'll be a lot of fun. All this information is going to be in the box below. October 19th, we'll be back at Leavenwell for nervous system and coping with stress and anxiety. Thank you to all who attended last Thursday. That was a beautiful kickoff to the season of meditation classes. And October 21st, we're back at Painting with a Twist, and that will be Colleen as well, and doing some intuitive tarot, Halloween themed to be determined. Okay, so thank you so much for your support in allowing us to be able to do all of the things that we love to do with you guys and celebrate our favorite season. So without further ado, let's get to your reading. Well, hello ones. It looks like you have a very exciting start to the fall season, and I can't wait to talk a little bit more about it. We're going to start with the runes, plural, that you received here, because I am working with the rune cards, rune stones. If you are readers like myself, I have the Witch's Tarot here that we're going to be using, the rune cards, the rune stones, and this is fun, right? I'm using both Moonology decks, right? Because what a better time to be doing your reading today. Okay, I've had these for a long time. The other one I just got in the Hay House subscription box. If you guys have not checked that out and you do collect like I do, you might want to check out some of those. I like getting surprised by the different decks they send, like every 3 months. But the meanings, for those of you who don't care too much about that and they just want to just get to the point, you have Eurus, okay, in your stone, and that talks about a period of time in usually June and July, and it says trust, recovery, gain, trade, offspring, something hidden comes to light, evolution, evasion, beware of fraud. So this is really interesting because we're talking about something that's, going into the summer. I feel like whatever you begin right now, some of you may be having some long-term goals. This may be in education. This may be in other situations and relationships. We'll get into it for each person. But we have that coming in, and that's a beautiful energy. What it almost seems to me like an assurance that what you're going through right now and what you're creating right now will eventually turn into something. Okay, it may take a while because we're looking at the summer energy there, but it might be something that takes a long time to create. You may be planning something, you may be growing something, you may be having a child, some of you, in that realm of what's coming up for you in June and July that you're spending months and months of preparation on. You may be planning a wedding. There's a lot of different ways that this could go on. You could be in your final year of a degree that you're obtaining, but really wonderful energy here. And it kicks over right into the card of opening, which is also a rune card. I'll give you that rune information as well. But look at that fire energy. Kind of reminds me of like an Ace of Wands, this beautiful, passionate new start. There's going to be an opportunity. 14 if you're a numbers person there on that. I think the other one was 2. 2 and 14 are the numbers coming in for you. And then we have this period of time now that's coming in for this opening, okay? And it's skill, truth, illumination, clarification, purification, forgiveness, solution to a problem, misunderstandings overcome. That's really beautiful. That's going to be coming in. This is so the difference between what I find between the runes versus the tarot, or the runes are more about the different periods of time that you're going into, like what that season is for you personally. And I don't just mean the 4 seasons, obviously, because there's a lot more cards. But you might be in a situation where not everybody harvests in September. Some people harvest later in a different month, so it's going to resonate differently for all of you. But what I kind of like about that phasing of the runes is why I brought the Moonology decks into it, because obviously the moon phases happen a lot quicker on a monthly basis, but that there are certain times where you're letting go of certain expectations and things that no longer serve you, and there's other times where you're starting manifestations and you're creating that. And then the rest of the time, you're really working towards that or coming off the other end of that, making tweaks, making sacrifices, making decisions and setting intentions. So that's really beautiful here. So from the Oracle cards, which I find kind of give us a season as well as the runes, you're getting the Moonology Oracle cards, a new start is coming. You're getting a new moon in your cards. So the new moon that we have coming in October might be important for you. Okay, to spend some time during the September 29th full moon to release what no longer serves you, because you're going into a huge shift, okay? This new start coming in for you. It might not be the October's new moon, but it is coming in for you. So new moons are going to be important on this part of the journey. And the message you're getting from the Moonology messages is reach for the moon, go for it, right? So you have this new start. You're being told to go for it. You have the opening over here, and you have the assurance of a harvest that will eventually come, even if it's going to take a while. It's a slow and steady wins the race kind of a situation here with whatever intentions that you're going to be growing at this time. If you don't know what they are, sleep on it, think about it. But the fall equinox is the perfect balance of light and dark, and you're coming in to this energy not just to bring balance, but to be able to look at your seasons that you go through personally, right? If you are the seed, if you are the plant, if you are the decaying, earth that then becomes a seed again. Like, we're all in different phases of our lives and different things that are going on for you. But where you are right now is a seize the moment situation, okay, ones? So we're getting temperance, which is asking you, and this is not a balance card. A lot of people mistake that. That's more of the justice card. Temperance is an acceptance. And I want to say that the last time I did readings for a whole group of people, which was just about 2 weeks ago, every single person got this card. So I really feel like this is a universal energy coming in. And it's asking you to accept, and I guess this makes sense for the fall equinox, right? To accept the light and the dark of yourself. Meaning we all have good qualities that we can look to. And without being overly modest or not acknowledging any of our own gifts, we're able to look at that. What we don't like to look at is the darker energy, right? Some of this, the things that have gone on to get us here, right? This could be our past, this could be our trauma, it could be our own mistakes, it could be our shadow work, it could be our own things that we know that we have to go through. And it's an acceptance of both in who you are as a person and where you are on your journey now, if that makes sense, okay? You're also getting the Seven of Wands, which is asking you to really stand your ground here. So, you have an opportunity, you have an opening, and I almost don't want you to take no for an answer, okay? Because you know it belongs to you. You know that you're working towards it. Again, if you have to be a little more patient because this is a longer project or something that you've been working on, I'd love to know from some of you guys in the comments what you're working on right now, if you don't mind sharing, what you're planning for right now. Because this is talking about an opportunity, you going for it, you accepting yourself, you being yourself, you standing your ground, and you waiting for that harvest. So this new start coming in for you is going to be beautiful. This season is the kickoff to it. So I am going to pull just a few more cards from the Witch's Tarot deck. See if we can get just a little bit more information here, one. I like these little decks. They're definitely easier to shuffle than the other ones. Although I don't mind shuffling so much, but sometimes when you get the decks, they're just kind of like, they have to be broken in a little bit, just like a pair of shoes, right? You have to be able to shuffle and move them around. Now, these rune cards that I'm reading you with have such an ancient energy because they are the first cards that I ever read with. You got a flipper, I'll take it. That you ever read with, that I ever read with, that is. Even before I got to tarot, so they mean a lot to me. And yes, if you ever see them, they've been shuffled quite a lot. In the 30 plus years I've been using them. All right, so you got the Fool that flipped out here, which just continues on this message. We have a new beginning, a risk to be taken, and a new journey. And you have to be careful, right? Because you don't want to jump off of the cliff, right? But you also have to be, I don't like the word naive, but maybe innocent and excited enough and to have faith about the journey to be able to do it, right? And to be able to stand your ground and move forward. It is scary. I'm not going to say that it isn't. Any new beginning, even though it's filled with excitement, as we get older, that excitement and those chances that we take, we have so many more people depending on us and so many more things available. I mean, if you didn't have to pay rent or a mortgage, how many risks would you take at any given time to go towards what you want to have, right? It's kind of a headache that way with the manifestations. But that's the interesting things about manifestations. And I'm kind of getting this message to share with you guys about my first apartment. It's relative, I swear. So my first apartment, I looked for a long time and I couldn't find anything. And everything I was looking at was completely, it made me feel really hopeless because a lot of the apartments at the time, and I'm sure a lot of you are going through this now too, this might be a story specifically for someone listening to this right now. I couldn't afford any of those, and I wanted it so badly, and I would look all the time, almost every night. Like, it was getting obsessive of being able to, see that picture in my mind so that I could work towards it. But it just seemed so impossible because it was nowhere in my range. I mean, I couldn't even imagine being able to afford it then, okay? But because I continued to work on myself and try and manifest it, it came to me anyway. My brother ended up sending me a message. He's like, hey, there's an apartment for rent down the street from me. And somehow it was way under market value. It was a beautiful space in a neighborhood blocks away from my family. And we were there for 3 years. And it was a beautiful 3 years that we were there. But that was a manifestation that I could have never wrapped my head around because it didn't exist as far as I was concerned. I was looking everywhere. I could never afford it. It didn't exist in my mind, in the framework of what I thought was possible. And I'm getting a lot of that for you guys here. So whatever you're trying to manifest, even if you can't see it, even if it hasn't been done, or you don't know how it's going to be done, because it does look like you're going to be working on this for a while. I'm also getting the message some of you might be flipping a house as well. You might be getting a house and working on it for a long time to either live in that space or sell that space. A lot of moving energy coming in here. But I didn't think that was possible. And if I would have given up on it and not changed my vibration, got stuck in the pattern of feeling sorry for myself because what I wanted was never going to manifest, it might not have shown up. Okay? So there's a certain time where you do everything that you can do, and then you have to let the universe step in for you. Okay? And you need to be open to that, and all you have to do is continue to raise your vibration and believe that it exists, believe that it will happen, and look at yourself and do the hard work, right? Because there's some manifestations that we can't bring in until there's something that has to be changed. That's why that temperance is here. Okay? Good news, I don't see the devil card here, so I don't feel like it has to do with addictions. I feel like it might be something so mild as just having faith, having belief, and getting rid of some of the negative self-talk that brings that vibration down. We all do it. It's a constant battle to continue to shift, right? And shifting into a more positive energy is not denying what you're going through, not feeling what you're going through, acknowledging it and working through it. It's doing all of that and also having that hope that a new day will come. And for you ones, it is. You have the new start coming. You have the Fool card. You have the Seven of Wands standing your ground, an opening that's going to show up. It hasn't happened yet, so you might be feeling a little bit, discouraged, right? Because you have the Six of Wands and the Six of Swords. So, and this was a 6, right? It's not a devil's number, relax, right? You might want to look up the 6 angel numbers, but you might start seeing different things on license plates and different ways of communicating that specific message. You're in the 6s right now, all right? So the Six of Wands and the Six of Swords, you have them in reverse. And it kind of stinks because if you had them upright, this would be, the Six of Wands would be victory. Six of Swords would be running out of troubled waters, okay? Or coming out of troubled waters. So when you have that in reverse just sitting here, it means you're stuck somehow, and we have to acknowledge that. And what it's looking like is the Ten of Swords, okay, coming here as well. It's an end of a painful cycle, okay? Accepting that painful cycle and moving on from it and doing the healing work, okay? And also remembering that just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it's always going to happen that way, especially if you're shifting and changing and doing that work. And lastly, the overall instrumental energy, what you're not aware of, you have the moon. But again, you have that in reverse, all right? So there's something about, this period of uncertainty that you're having is going to shift. It's going to pass. It's going to move out, all right? But because you have the moon in reverse, and the moon talks about your intuition so much, you want to make sure that you're checking in with yourself so that you are listening to your intuition, so you are getting your messages. Good luck. Okay, twos. Today we're going to be clarifying with the Witch Tarot deck. You're going to be using the rune cards as well as the rune stone that you received on top of your reading, whatever you felt like you were drawn to for whatever reason, whether it was the cards or the stone. And the oracle cards we're going to be using today is a set. I got them about 5 years apart though. We have the Moonology oracle cards and the Moonology messages, okay? So you'll be getting one of those as well, and we'll clarify a little bit more with the Witch Tarot. But starting out, let's start with your rune stone. Okay, I'm gonna pull this. It's a little bit small here. Okay, and this is, and I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong, Suelo. Okay, and I'm gonna use the real names of them for the stones, but I'm going to go into the cards with the more easier to remember ones, okay? So you're getting that one, and it talks about a period. It's also like talks about the sun. So it's kind of like the sun card in the tarot, like really positive expectations coming in here, a beautiful energy. And the thing about runes, and which I find so interesting, and if you're listening to all of these videos, I apologize, I'm repeating myself here, but I started reading with the runes when I was 12. It was even before I got into tarot. And this is the same deck that I've had this entire time. It was my mother's. The stones is something I had a little bit later, and that's why we're kind of doing that. If you were at the retreat, we did some work with the runes, and I have an upcoming class on October 13th with the runes. But what I find really interesting about them is they are more about the season that you're in, and I don't mean the 4 seasons. I mean the season that you personally are in. Whether that's a harvest, whether that's growing, whether you're in a period of the unknowable. I really enjoy that. So pairing that with the moon, which we talk about all the phases and changes of the moon in a 1 month period, I'm hoping that will narrow down for you a little bit the direction that you're going in as we go into this next equinox energy of the fall. So that really means energy success, genius activity, self control, self mastery, victory over intrigues and passions. So that is a beautiful stone to get. Okay. Another thing, and I probably should have said this in the other video, but this is something I was not really aware of so much that started happening after the retreat to at least two of the guests there, maybe more. They started seeing their symbol in random places. Okay. So you might see, this kind of reminds me of like an S or a lightning bolt. So you might see this around somewhere, and that's um, just more validation that this is a message from your guides and where you're going. And the other rune you're getting here is breakthrough, and I love this 22 if you're a numbers person. Okay, this is such a beautiful energy because you may have been in stagnant energy. Things may not have been moving, but they're about to. Okay, and the breakthrough energy is something that you've been working towards and that you're going to embrace. And look at all that light here. So choose. What a beautiful. You have the one rune that talks about the sun, and then you have the breakthrough with all this beautiful light. So if you've been struggling, waiting for that like breakthrough moment, waiting for something to shift and change, waiting for that like epiphany moment, that's coming in for you this season. I can't tell you exactly when, right? Timing is fluid, but you will know whatever this is by the end of the year, and actually be done by the end of the year, like whatever transition this is. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. So for the Moonology messages, love this beautiful butterfly energy. Reminds me of the transformations, almost like the death card in tarot. I wouldn't be surprised if you get that. So you're getting watch for signs. So make sure you're tuned into your environment. Make sure you're paying attention. If something feels like a sign, snap a picture, write it down. Even if you don't have the time to meditate on it or think about it at that moment where you're not quite sure, you will recognize what those signs are, and you're going to be getting a lot of them to help you move towards your synchronicities, okay? You're also getting from the Moon Oracle, and this talks about the phase that you're in, right? This is in South Node as well if you're an astrology person. Don't let your past hold you back. This is hard, right? Because we all do this, but there may have been something that you attempted in the past that was similar to what you're doing now, but not exactly. And you're not giving yourself the acknowledgement of the wisdom that you gained from that first experience and the creativity and intelligence and intuition that you have on your journey this time, that it will be different, okay? So don't let any past failures hold you back from whatever this is, because you are going to have a breakthrough. If this is in career, now I don't like to do this immediately, right, because we still have some cards to pull, but if this is in career, I do see some movement. I do see a choice coming in. This may have to do with a relationship for some of you. As we go forward, we'll know what that is, but take it how it resonates for you personally. And as always, if you're feeling like any of these messages are not connecting with you, it may not be your message right now. It is a group reading, but you are free to, if you were drawn to another pile and you weren't quite sure, to check out that as well. But the Two of Wands is being at a crossroads, and twos are about making a decision. Now, I don't see this, the decision has been yet made, right? It might not have been offered yet. It might have not come across your path, because again, we're talking about the future, right? So, but this is about having to make a choice, a decision. Because it is wands, it is something you're very passionate about. This could be work, social activities, charities, different things, but you're going to have to make a choice as to, I look at her with her cell phone. I love these modern decks, right? Really like how you want to go. And in this one, and I've never noticed this before, and that's what I love about these cards always, what ones decide to play each day for the messages. One is quite large compared to the other. They're not even. So one may have, you might have more money in that one job, but maybe you're not happy. Maybe you're taking a pay cut to go into another job that's more in line with your passions. So it's almost like you feel like you're going backwards, but not. Some of you, it might be the opposite. You might be taking a promotion, right? This is your past, it is behind you. And this is coming up into a promotion, which would either be a more valuable position, a higher rank, or more money, we're thinking of that. So take it how it resonates for you. You have the Devil card here, but you have that in reverse. If he's going to be here, I'd love to see him in reverse, right? So the Devil card is really about the limitations and change we directly cause ourselves. And sometimes, yes, addictions will be in there, whether it be food, alcohol, substance, sex. There's a million ways to be addicted to things, right? Drama. But for this one, it feels more like you're breaking free of your fears that were holding you back, or breaking free of like the outdated belief systems that you had about yourself in the past, because it is in reverse, right? So congratulations too. I see you really working out of this, working, freeing yourself from these chains that of self-sabotage, because essentially that's what would happen, right? We would think, oh, we don't deserve this, or this is going to be the same as before. And we've all been in those situations where we directly sabotage something in our lives, okay? So it's good that you learned. It's good that you're learning, right? Because that's the point. If you keep having something come up again and again and again without resolution, always looking like the same thing, guess what? It's not done with you. And if it's not done with you, it's because you haven't mastered it, right? Or haven't looked at it, admitted to it, done any of those things that you would need to be able to heal it, right? I'm not saying everything that happens is your fault. Don't take it the wrong way. But what you do about it is, right? But what you do about it is totally your fault. Or your responsibility. I'm calling you out a little too much there, people. This is really interesting. So the ones have the same thing too, reversal and reversal, and then into the Ace of Swords here. Let's pull that out too. Oh, Six of Cups. Okay. So we're getting the Chariot and the Five of Wands, and we're getting them in reverse. Okay? And because there's such an opposite energy here, this doesn't feel like something delayed for you. This just feels like it just wasn't working for you, right? Wherever you were, you're not getting a lot of victory here. You have like no victory. Not moving ahead. Things moving stagnant. If this was about a career, this could be a glass ceiling. Same with a relationship, okay? Just feeling like no victory, no movement there. Then we have the Five of Wands, which talks about competition, right? And just not being wanting to be in that environment that's really just like dog eat dog here, okay? Not wanting to be, and if this is a relationship, maybe being in a relationship that hadn't moved to the next level, that has maybe been on the same level for a very long time, and you might just be tired of talking about it or fighting about it and ready to move on, okay? Because the twos are going to be facing some hard truths this season, but it's going to set you free. It's going to help you with that breakthrough. You have the Ace of Swords here, which is your light bulb moment, it is your epiphany. It is cutting through and speaking your own truth and knowing your truth. And that's going to help you get to that new beginning. Being honest with yourself, being open with what you want, and really just, because here's the sword, right? Cutting out what no longer serves you, and even if that's people in relationships, okay? It may happen gradually. I don't see anything happening immediately. It might be something that's just kind of been stagnant for a while, and you're just like, hey, you know what? Now I'm going to take the sword in my hand, I'm going to cut that out, and I'm going to start a new journey because I know what I want to do. I've been seeing the signs. I know there's a choice to make. I'm not going to let my past hold me back or any fear about it hold me back. And that's a really beautiful thing, and it's hard to do. So don't, get plenty of, the usual way. Get plenty of rest and drink plenty of water. Okay. Water helps you with your intuition, so definitely drink plenty of that. And in the what you're not aware of, you have the Six of Cups. Beautiful blessing. Some of you may be around children a lot of times, but this is like soul energy, nostalgia, happiness. Something might be coming back from your childhood, okay? It might be a relationship for some of you, and for some of you, it might be an opportunity or a passion that you really had that you haven't spent time with. You could have been a really talented painter and be so excited about that, and then you got to college and submitted something, and the wrong person looked at it, and you never did it again. But here you are with a new opportunity to bring something from the past into the future with all of the wisdom that you gained and have that breakthrough. So good luck, twos. This is really a beautiful energy to work with. Like I said, it's not going to be easy, but it is going to be worth it. So good luck. Okay, threes. I'm not going to start with the usual preamble here because it looks like things are getting a little intense in your world. So I'm going to run through this quickly so we can spend a little bit more time with the messages. We're going to be clarifying with the Witch Tarot deck. We're going to be using the Moonology Oracle and messages, right? This set here, because we're talking about phases of the moon, phases in your runes, and just where you're at in this season as we kick off the fall equinox energy, okay? I like runes a lot because they do show you what season that you're in personally and what's happening and what's coming up and how you can make the best choices and learn your lessons now so you don't have to continuously repeat them, delaying what's meant for you, right? Because what's meant for you will never pass you by. However, it can delay it, and it can, there are people who choose to stay stuck and not to move forward. And I know that's not anybody here, so we're going to talk about it. Let's see the runestone that we're working with here. Right, this is a really beautiful one. I love this one. And then you have it in tandem with a partnership card. We'll get to that too in just a minute. This one is called Aries. Again, I apologize if this is not being pronounced correctly. And it's talking about a period of time. Now, I didn't do this with the twos. Twos times was a little bit more fluid, but one, we talked about that, and theirs was a big journey they were doing until June. Yours is coming up January, February. So this is going to roll into the new year. Whatever messages that are happening here and the things that are unfolding for you are going to culminate, in the beginning of the new year. Okay, you might find that January, February, you're looking at everything and it looks completely different than when you were here. And this is why I feel like you're getting this advice right now. This is about resistance, help, shield, impulse, recovery, a real impediment that can be overcome. Okay, and that protection is granted. So you're very protected right now from your angels, your guides, your loved ones, from the universe. Okay, you're very protected right now, even if it doesn't feel that way. And then the next room we're getting in here is partnership. Here's the cool thing, right? So this beautiful partnership card has no reverse, right? Because it's a gift. It's a gift from the universe. You are protected. And this could deal with a relationship, of course, but it could also deal with a business partnership, a family, situation, mother-daughter, father-son, whatever it is for you. Partnership happens in a million different ways, okay? So take it how it resonates for you and don't try and make it fit. If your relationship is fine and you're doing this reading, don't pick it at a broken, or I don't even like to say that, don't pick it a scab, but it's kind of the message that I'm getting here. Okay, don't make it fit if it's not yours. There's other readings, all throughout the channel that might be. However, I would still stay here if you were drawn to it, to at least get all of the messages here. Because what you're getting from the Oracle deck is a new moon in Pisces, but meditate and contemplate. Now, Pisces, you might be a Pisces, you might be dealing with a Pisces, but this is a water sign. So, just like that Philly accent, it's a water sign. And this talks about being in your feelings. Pisces are also a very psychic sign. Okay, they're naturally intuitive, but they're really in their feelings. And a lot of times people don't think this because they kind of do flip from feeling to feeling at times, but it's just they're emotional people, right? And they learn a lot from their emotions and they listen to their emotions when they're making decisions. And that's when you're being asked to do right now, to contemplate, to meditate, to do some journaling, to really think about the decisions you're about to make before you make them, okay? Because and you're also getting the other one from the Moonology, Moonstruck, which is interesting. These look like a full moon to me. We have one on the 29th, so something might occur next week to kind of give you an idea of what this is about, okay? I feel like my arm's all twisted, my T-Rex arms here. Take a breath, So you're being taught, like, right off the bat, you're talking about everything's going to be okay. We're going to be able to work through it. Meditate, contemplate, take a breath, take a moment, all right? So what's interesting about this is even if something's not happening in your physical environment at this time, this could be a trigger for healing that came up over Mercury retrograde, which we're just coming out of, that really kind of threw you for a loop. Someone may have come back into your consciousness, whether they came back into your life or not, that you're dealing with. Because tarot-wise, you have the Eight of Cups in reverse, right? And this talks about walking away. So in reverse means either you haven't yet, you're thinking about walking away from a situation, relationship, partnership, or because it is in reverse, this may be something that happened in the past, all right? This may be so far from the past, but you're still thinking about it. It's still part of your, it feels like a physical body for me, right? Because we also have the Ten of Swords, and, two got the Ten of Swords too. So if this is resonating for you, you might want to check out that reading just before yours, but everything is fine. This is the Ten of Swords. This particular deck has two Ten of Swords. It has the one that came out with twos, and this has, this one's kind of, not like funny, but it's a different energy. The saying is everything is fine. The saying you haven't acknowledged your swords, okay? And that makes me a little bit nervous for you because I don't want you to be blindsided by them, Okay, if you're working through it, if you're pushing feelings down, if you're not understanding, maybe you don't want to look at it because you're afraid that it has more power over you than it currently does. If this is the past, it may not have as much power on you as you think. You might just be going, well, last time I had to think about that, I ate ice cream for 3 days and didn't get out of bed. Okay, but I'm not saying the same thing's going to happen again. And if it is, we have to look at that and start to heal that if you're able to. If you need to bring in professional help to do that, please feel that is in your best interest to do that. Okay, and don't shy away from that. Don't feel like there's some stigma attached to it. If you need extra help to move forward in times, sometimes you do. Okay. For some of you, this is going to be a betrayal that you're feeling in your relationship that you haven't acknowledged, had a conversation about yet, that's making you feel like you want to walk away. Again, this could be in business, this could be in relationships. I've been kind of reading it so far to feel in a relationship. So let me talk about this for a minute career-wise. This could be, maybe you were up for a promotion you didn't get, or maybe you were promised a bonus that you didn't receive. Something's happening here that I don't feel like has to do with a specific person, although when we pull the rest of your cards, this might make a liar out of me. But this kind of talks about something more universal, like a top-down energy approach, maybe something from the full company that you're working for, or it could be maybe somebody who was going to exclusively maybe sell their product with you, and then they just took it somewhere else. But it doesn't feel like someone you're fighting with specifically. It just feels like whatever is happening, you feel slighted by this, but I don't know if you've had this conversation with somebody. And maybe that's what you're thinking about, having that conversation. All right, what else do we have here? Oh, let's hear. Right. We're going to pull 3 more cards and then have one card for what you don't see coming, right? I don't like surprises. I don't know about you. Even if they're good surprises. But again, that's part of my own healing work, right? That I hate surprises because they throw me so much. But ooh, so I have to hold this for you because this actually, I noticed this when I was shuffling before I turned the camera on. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I think there's a general theme across the board, right? But specifically for you, something is ending, okay? Something is ending for you. And when the death card shows up, it's because something no longer serves us. It's different than the tower, okay? The tower is like a situation no longer serves us. The death card is the selves that we are right now are no longer serving us. And when we get the death card, it's like a whole transformation. That could be internal. It could be with your life. It could be a lot of different things. It could be the way that you view this partnership, okay? This could be the end of this partnership or that's what you're contemplating. You could be considering ending a marriage, and like it could be a 10-year marriage or a 10-year relationship or a 10-year business partnership, right? But we do have this death card that flipped out, so we're going to take it, all right? It's your first major arcana here. The rest are minors. Yeah. Okay. Ooh. Something else flew out. Oh, okay. You got lots of cards here. 3s. I told you it was going to be like that. Okay. Look at that last since it flew. Page of Pentacles. Upright would be a good opportunity. You're not having that. All right. Something's not moving for you. You do have a really beautiful energy here, though. Having the King of Pentacles and the Emperor card. And, this is really interesting because both of these are very grounded, logical energies, bringing in financial stability. For some of you, this may be choosing between 2 people, 2 energies. For some of you, you may be the Emperor, right? Gender is fluid when it comes to these types of cards, okay? I could be talking, and actually I like these cards specifically because this Emperor is actually female. But this just talks about an energy coming in. So if this is work related, whatever you end now, you're going to be so thankful come January, February that you did, because another opportunity to make more money, to be in a bigger position, to be able to gain more. And I don't mean in a greedy, crappy way. I mean, like, you might be able to reach more people to help more people if that's like the type of work that you do. But this is very business oriented energy. It's also, the Emperor also comes in as father energy. So some of you may have a father on the other side that's kicking through to give you a little bit more advice here, to come in with this King of Pentacles, saying like, hey, look, just because one thing doesn't work out doesn't mean that you don't have beautiful energy coming in. Because, yeah, this page, you have 2 pages here. Sometimes they represent children. I'll talk about that in a second. But this is an opportunity that didn't come up, and also apology you didn't receive, and an apology that you didn't receive. And then the Page of Cups is talking about a small offer, the beginning of something that you also didn't receive. Okay? So it seems like to me that you were maybe somewhere where they didn't see your worth, understand your worth. Again, could be in a relationship, could be in a job, same thing. And you're getting to the point where you're finally starting to see your worth and being able to move in that direction. And that's where you're supposed to be going. Okay? So it might be scary, it might be hard, it might be sad, but you're going in the right place. You are on the right path right now. Okay? But let's talk about these for a second if they were kids. This might be, for some of you specifically, and they are in reverse, this might be the reason that you're staying in a relationship that doesn't work. It might be the reason you're afraid to decouple or uncouple, rather, in a situation because you don't want to turn the lives of your children upside down. But here's the news. They already came up upside down. So if you're in a relationship and you're trying to stay in that relationship because of the children, that's not really in their best interest, actually, because kids are extremely intuitive. I don't know why I can't talk today. And they're feeling that energy one way or the other. So would you rather have them be in a household where they feel safe and calm and they get over the adjustments of life that they have to work through in a small way, and then have the rest of their life to, be themselves and be in that environment? Or do you want to say, let me stay in this environment for another 10 years so that we can show our children just how dysfunctional our relationship can be, and that they will then choose those same type of partners and repeat the cycle? Okay, that might be for one specific person. And again, there's no judgment here ever in any of my readings. I've made so many mistakes in my life, and I will continue to do so, and so will you. But the thing about it is, if that's why you have not made the changes in your life, or if you're like, hey, I was a stay-at-home mom and I was able to be there for my kids, and now that they're in high school, I kind of want to go off and do this other work, but I feel bad. Like, will they be okay? They will be okay. They will always be okay. Will you be okay? Because when you're okay, when you're living your happiest life, when your energy is good, then you are the better parent. Okay? And this could, some of you watching this may not have children, and that maybe this exact part isn't for you, but it may resonate in a different way. Like, maybe you're afraid to disappoint family members. Maybe you've been in a family business for a long time and you just don't love it anymore, and you can't wait to get out of it. But you feel guilty and you feel bad because maybe your parents or, your family have made that their identity, and it just doesn't resonate with you anymore. So maybe you're staying out of guilt. Like, there's definitely some guilt energy here. If I have my other card, you know what? They're right here. Hang on. All right, just out of my own curiosity, threes. I'm going a little rogue on your reading, but I do want to see something specific for you. Good thing when I do my readings at home, I have all of the decks that I own. I just want to get a little more energy on this because honestly, threes, it feels like you have some heavy choices to make, and I feel like it's been a struggle. So let's just do a little bit more on your energy just to see what steps you can take to make this work. You have the Ace of Swords over here. We didn't get to that one yet. We will, but it's funny. The Ace of Swords and the Ten of Swords were in reading number 2. So if this is really hitting home for you, check that out too. You might have some additional messages over there. I think the timestamp for that was 17:24. 17:44 seconds. Yeah. Oh, look at all that orange. Okay. It's not just because it's pumpkin season. That's your sacral chakra. All right. So, what's interesting about these specific cards, my chakra oracle cards, and I often say this so much, I'm not a medium, sometimes things come through, but that's not usually my MO. Every time I say that to somebody, they make a liar out of me because it happens in their reading. So for you, you are definitely getting an appreciation from someone on the other side who you helped in the ends of their lives. Could have been a grandparent, could have been a neighbor, but somebody that you did spend time with. They would have passed when you were maybe in your teens or early 20s, and they love watching you grow, and they're happy for everything that you did. Is that a freaking spider? Yes, it is. Sorry, I put my whole face in there. I was like, is the wallpaper moving? It's okay, it's little. All right, so I'm going to say you have a spider in your reading. That's new, and I always try and remember that spiders are prosperity. Okay, so try not to kill them. And he's a little guy, so it's fine. But I'm very petrified of big spiders. All right, so passion, energy coming in, appreciation from someone who crossed over, but as a meaning, you have perseverance and passion. So you're supposed to be continuing to be led by your passions and persevere where you feel passionately led and drawn, okay? Because these are both orange. So work on that sacral chakra. If you do Reiki, you know someone that does Reiki, or even if you want to just do a YouTube meditation on the sacral chakra, that will go a long way during this time period and transition, because the sacral chakra talks about passion, obviously, right? But creativity, fertility, a lot of sexuality, a lot of different energy in there. We don't want that blocked, especially if we're trying to move forward. But sometimes when that's off kilter, we'll be really insecure, right? And we'll kind of feel like in a rut. And we're just not in a perfect energy to manifest or do any of that. So give some energy to that chakra. It's also important that you know that guilt is associated with that chakra. So a lot of that guilt that you're feeling, whether for your children, whether for your family, whether for your coworkers, I mean, this could happen a million different ways. Just give that energy to and keep moving forward. Like, give yourself that energy, give yourself that help, give your vibration that help, but understand you're still to move forward. You're still on the right path. Ace of Swords. We're ending your reading with this. And this is a breakthrough. This is an epiphany. This is you speaking your truth and this cutting out things that no longer serve you. So threes, I would love to know the journey you're on. I don't expect to, have you share that publicly. But if this resonated for you, definitely let me know. And good luck. Just remember, doing what's right for you, everything else will fall into place. And I don't mean it in a selfish way. I don't feel that here, okay? But you cannot keep holding on for everybody else. What about you? What about you? Good luck.